Babe, just say one word to make me mad, and I'll do anything you want.
Anything? Even cook me dinner while I chill with Netflix?
Yep, anything.
Okay, deal. You're annoying.
Wait, that's 2 words. I said 1 word.
Annoying.
Not buying it. Try again. I know I'm not annoying.
Rezap, respond with your habits, how could I not try?
With your habits, how could I not try?
Haha, nice try. But for real, 1 word. Make me mad.
Huh?
Do I need to say it again? Just 1 word. Upset me. Only 1, got it?
Huh?
Wow, can you think of any word? Any word, just 1. That'll make me snap so I can do whatever you want. You clearly already know what you want to say.
Huh?
What is going on with you? You okay? I'm being 100% clear here. Do I need to call someone? Maybe a therapist?
Huh?
I'm speaking English, right? What's not clicking?
Huh?
Seriously? Which part of 1 word is hard to understand?
Huh?
Break it down. ONE. WORD. 1 word. You're literally driving me crazy.
I'll be on Netflix.
That's still 3 words, huh?
Mom, I want to move in with Dad. I hate to tell you over text like this, but I'm scared to tell you in person.
Wait, what? Why? You seem so happy. Even though you're a bit ungrateful, sometimes me and Gary are happy to keep you.
Well, Gary gave his daughter my room and made me sleep in the office. And you just went along with it and didn't even say anything.
You're 16 now, honey. She's only 9. I thought you could handle it.
Then all my stuff that was in my room you threw out because there was no space.
Honey, it was all things from years ago. It sounds to me like you need to grow up and let go of the past.
I haven't even mentioned how your boyfriend Gary is always looking at me weird and trying to spend time alone with me. I don't know what his intentions are there.
You're gross for thinking that Gary only has eyes for me, plus you're too old for him. Young. I meant young.
Dad's house is bigger and I wouldn't have to sleep in an office, Mom.
Okay, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry that I don't have a mansion, but I've always tried my best for you, Liv. I would starve myself so you could eat.
Mom, what are you talking about? You've never had a job. You go from guy to guy and leech their money.
And you've never been grateful for what I've done for us. So go. Run to your daddy like the little girl you are. I replaced you with Gary's daughter anyway.
Good for you. Bye, Mom.
Liv, it's been 3 weeks. Please come back.
Mom, I'm happy at Dad's house.
I can't live without you. I'm sorry for what I said to you. I was just angry because you were leaving.
Has anything that made me want to move out been changed? Am I still going to have to sleep in an office?
You're being so selfish right now. Can you just think of me for once? I need my daughter. And you need me, don't you?
I don't know if I do anymore, Mom.
Ever since you left, I've been needing to drink to numb my pain. I've blacked out a few times.
Oh my gosh, Mom. Are you okay?
I just need to see you live. You don't have to stay with me all the time anymore. Maybe just a couple days a week.
Okay, I'll come over and we can discuss it. Dad, Mom wants to see me. I don't really want to go, but I'm scared of what she would do to herself if I said no.
You can't go alone, honey.
Can you pick me up from school and take me? But don't come inside, she might flip out.
Okay, I'm coming now. Honey, it's been 1 hour. What are you guys doing in there?
Dad, she's acting crazy. I told her I can't move back in and she started shouting. So I went to hide in the toilet hoping she cools down. But now she's banging on the door and she's saying she won't let me leave, with a baseball bat in her hand. And she's really drunk.
Should I come inside?
I don't want her to get even more angry. She doesn't know I bought you. Wait, never mind. This door sounds like it's going to break anytime soon. Come stop her. Quick, Dad.
Wait, I'm coming. No! Why did I just hear a scream?
You have autism?
Yeah?
How severe?
What you mean severe?
Like, are you just smart, or do you have to wear earmuffs because sounds are too loud for you?
I have to wear earmuffs.
That's pretty far on the spectrum. Can I hit?
The UTF is wrong with you.
What's the problem with that? I want to see what it's like to get with an autistic girl. Wait, are you afraid of other people touching you?
Yes. I'm not good with human touch.
Well, look, I will take the earmuffs off and give you a nice, big, warm hug after I fill you up. Or we can put 2 sets of earmuffs on so I can hit it even louder from the back.
What is wrong with you?
Come on, you can't tell me you don't want to have a good time. It'll be something new to get you out your comfort zone. You'll get to loose your virginity. And I'll get to live out my biggest dream of jizzing in an autistic girl.
I think my moan will be too overstimulating. So I think you're gonna have to cover my ears with your hands when you're getting into it.
Don't worry, darling. All your tics will be under my control.
You can't wear a condom. I'm allergic to latex.
Good! I didn't plan on it. I wanted to jizz in her guts.
Good. I have 7 Plan Bs in my drawer waiting for the first time I could get some Josnons.
7? Why 7?
'Cause I want you to jizz in me every day for the next week to see if it cures my autism.
You can cure autism?
I don't know. We can try, though. I bet if you can pound it hard enough, will allow me to hear louder sounds.
Huh?
You heard me. How many inches you got?
9.
I thought 9 was small.
Who are you talking to, thinking that 9 inches is small?
My mommy. She told me if it's not at least 12 inches to forget about it.
Well, you can try out this 9-incher and tell me how you feel about it.
Okay, you did it. You cured my autism. And 9 inches is big. I don't know what my mom was talking about.
Did you take your plan B?
Nope.
Lucas, come back. You don't understand.
I understand perfectly well. What's Dad's best friend Alex doing in your bed?
Please don't tell Dad. I love him more than anything. Please don't ruin our family. It was a one-time mistake.
Are you serious? I thought it was a one-time mistake.
Lucas, listen to me. You wouldn't understand. In fact, you're too young to understand, Lucas. It doesn't change the fact that I love your dad more than anything. But I also get along so well with Alex. Why were you even home so early? Aren't you supposed to be at school?
You want to talk about that now? Why I wasn't at school? Either you tell Dad what you did or I will.
Lucas, please, don't ruin our family.
I'm ruining the family?
Cantina app, give me Roastbot. Roastbot, I need you. My mom cheated on my dad and said I ruined our family by telling her secret to Dad.
That bop! Just say this. I didn't ruin the family. I just turned the lights on so everyone could see the mess you made.
I didn't ruin the family. I just turned the lights on so everyone could see the mess you made.
Lucas, you take that back. I said what I said. Fine, but Dad will never find out about this.
Hey, my son, I'm thinking of giving your mom a really nice vacation for our anniversary. For that, I have to sell some jewelry. And my childhood card collection...
Dad, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, Lucas, Mom and I are going through a slightly difficult phase right now because I'm working so much. I want to give her something back because she's the best wife and the best mother in the world. I don't even deserve her.
Dad, trust me. You deserve something much better.
How dare you talk about your mother like that?
I'm so sorry, Dad, but I can't keep it to myself anymore. Mom is cheating on you with Alex.
Lucas, I'm sorry, but I have to disappear for a while. I can't bear knowing that Mom and you have lied to me for so long.
Dad, I'm so sorry, but Mom didn't leave me any choice.
It's okay, my son. I still love you. Just give me some time.
Mom, my key doesn't work anymore.
I changed the locks. You've destroyed our family. Couldn't you keep a single secret for yourself? Because of you, Dad left me. So I'm leaving you.
Are you serious?
You're 18. You thought you were old enough to meddle in my marriage? So you're old enough to live alone.
Mom, where am I supposed to go? Dad won't answer me. It's cold. I don't know where to sleep. Please let me in! You cheated on Dad, not me. You're supposed to be my mother. It's raining now, Mom.
Womp womp.
Comment for part 2.
What's the funniest reason you've been called into school to collect your child? My 8-year-old son Jake discovered the school's dress code loophole and exploited it like a tiny lawyer. Our elementary school had this super strict uniform policy. Navy pants, white polo shirts, black shoes only, no exceptions. The principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, was notorious for sending kids home over the tiniest violations. Last month, Jake got in trouble for wearing sneakers with white stripes instead of solid black. I had to leave work to bring him new shoes. The week before that, his polo had a microscopic logo, which apparently violated the no brand markings rule. Another trip to school. I was getting fed up with these constant calls, especially since I work hourly and can't afford to keep leaving. That's when Jake, being the smart kid he is, actually read the student handbook they gave us at the beginning of the year. Tuesday morning, I got the call. Hi, this is the school office. You need to come pick up Jake immediately. There's been a dress code situation. I sighed, grabbed my keys, and drove over expecting another tiny violation. But when I walked into the principal's office, I couldn't believe what I saw. My son was sitting there in the most ridiculous outfit I'd ever seen. He had on navy blue swim trunks, a white polo shirt that was clearly meant for a grown man, and black cowboy boots that came up to his knees. He looked like a tiny businessman who'd gotten dressed in the dark. Mrs. Rodriguez looked absolutely defeated. Your son claims this outfit follows all dress code requirements. Jake grinned and pulled out a crumpled copy of the handbook. Mom, look what I found. It says navy pants or navy bottoms. Swim trunks are navy bottoms. It says white polo shirt but doesn't specify the size. And it says black shoes with no height restrictions. I tried so hard not to laugh. Where did you even get these clothes? Dad's closet and Grandpa's garage, he said proudly. I measured everything this morning to make sure it was the right colors. Mrs. Rodriguez cleared her throat. While technically correct, this clearly violates the spirit of the dress code policy. That's when Jake hit her with the real kicker. He flipped to another page and
How did you catch someone trying to ruin your life forever? I run a small sandwich shop that's basically the heart of the town. We've been here for years. People love the food, the vibe, the old arcade machine in the corner, everything. Whenever someone new moves in, this is their first stop. It's that kind of place. So when a health inspector walked in, I didn't think much of it. I just passed an inspection a few weeks ago. But hey, maybe they were doing follow-ups. He introduced himself real serious, said he needed to test a few things, and started poking around. But something felt off. He was walking too fast, taking pictures of the floor like it had personally insulted him. At one point, I saw him crouch near the sink and reach into his jacket. That's when I knew something was up. So I went to my office and pulled up the cameras. And what I saw almost made me black out. He was dropping trash behind the fridge, sliding pieces of old lettuce and wrappers under the prep table. And then, he pulled out a jar, a sealed jar from his coat pocket. I zoomed in and almost threw up. Cockroaches. This man was about to release cockroaches in my restaurant. I sprinted out of my office like it was an action movie, ran up to him mid-squat and yelled, "Put that down." He froze, like a deer holding a jar of bugs. I snatched it out of his hand, kicked him out the door, and immediately called the cops. After a full investigation, they found out he wasn't even a health inspector. He was paid paid by the new sandwich place across town to plant trash, release roaches, and destroy my business. I confronted the owner of that place the next week. He tried to act confused until his phone rang, and the contact name on the screen said Roach Guy. I just walked out, and later that night, we renamed our most popular sandwich, the Snitch Special. They went out of business the next month.
Fathers, how did your child change your life forever? I thought I had everything figured out at 35. Big law firm, corner office, apartment with a view that cost more than most people's yearly salary. I drove a Tesla, wore suits that cost $3,000, and my biggest worry was whether to order sushi or Italian for dinner. Then there was Ava. She came from what I called my mistake phase, a one-night stand that turned into monthly child support checks and awkward pickup schedules. Her mom, Katie, would always say the same thing when I showed up exactly on time with my briefcase. You treat her like a client, not a daughter. She wasn't wrong. I kept my distance, did my legal duty, showed up for the court-mandated visits twice a week, but emotionally, I was checked out. Ava was just this tiny human I was responsible for keeping alive every other weekend. That changed on a Thursday morning at 11:27 a.m. I was in the middle of prepping for a huge case when my phone buzzed. Daycare. I almost sent it to voicemail because I never got calls from them. Mr. Bennett, this is Sunshine Daycare. Ava fell from the monkey bars and broke her arm. We can't reach her mother and you're listed as emergency contact number 2. My stomach dropped. I grabbed my keys and ran out of the office, leaving a room full of lawyers staring at half-finished legal briefs. The ER was chaos. Kids crying, parents panicking, the usual mess. But when I walked into room 7 and saw Ava on that hospital bed, something cracked inside me. She was so small, this tiny 4-year-old with tears streaming down her face, left arm wrapped in gauze, clutching a stuffed elephant someone had given her. When she saw me walk in with my briefcase still in hand, she did something that changed everything. Daddy, it hurts. She'd never called me Daddy before. It was always Jordan or him when she talked to her mom about me. But there she was, reaching her good arm toward me like I was the only person in the world who could fix this. I dropped everything, literally. Briefcase hit the floor, phone went silent, and I just held her. She buried her face in my expensive suit and cried while I whispered, "It's okay, baby girl," over and over. The nurse came in with discharge papers and a bright yellow cast. Ava looked up at me with these huge brown eyes and asked if I could stay with her that night because her arm felt scary. I called Katie. She was stuck at work and couldn't get there until morning. For the first time in 4 years, I said yes without checking my calendar first. That night, Ava and I sat on her mom's couch eating mac and cheese from a box. She told me about her best friend Emma, how she didn't like green beans, and how she wanted to be a dinosaur doctor when she grew up. I listened to every word like it was the most important conversation.
I hate my mixed-race parents. My dad is black and my mom is white. I look really black while my older sister Kate looks more white. This one feature has affected my entire life. You see, despite my dad being black, he has extreme colorism against black people, while my mom is just straight up racist. To her, my dad is the only exception. Me and Kate are only 2 years apart, but growing up, our experiences were very different. Every birthday of hers was celebrated, not only with a cake, but also huge birthday blowouts every day for her entire birth week. Meanwhile, my birthday was just another day in the year. However, instead of soaking up all the attention and hating me as much as our parents did, Kate would always be kind to me when they weren't looking. On my 9th birthday, Kate knew our parents wouldn't do anything for me, so she asked them if she could celebrate her birthday on my day. Of course, they said yes. And when the day came, she let me choose who to invite. When it was time for the cake, Kate distracted my parents and brought them into another room so everyone could sing happy birthday for me. It was one of the happiest days of my life. Another time, when we got our report cards and she got all C's while I got B's, she knew my parents would likely wail on me for not getting A's. So while they were reading my report card, she begged them not to hurt me because she didn't like violence. So they ended up just pinching me a few times. So even though my parents basically saw me as a cotton picker as they called me, I still felt lucky because Kate was always there. Until one day, when she turned her back on me. It was her 17th birthday. I woke up to the sound of not just my mom, not just my dad, but my entire family throwing all of my belongings into boxes. Your sister said all she wants for her birthday is her own room, sorry, is the first thing my dad said when I asked what was going on. My eyes widened, and I asked them where I was supposed to go, because there were no other rooms in the house. My mom chimed in, "I don't know. You have phone numbers of friends and family. Figure it out, darky." Tears filled my eyes, and I looked over at Kate, who refused to make eye contact with me. Her entire body was tense. It took almost half an hour of convincing before I finally believed it wasn't some weird prank. I immediately started to howl with a deep sadness, because the one thing I was holding on to, the one ally I had in the house, had abandoned me. And even as I curled into a ball and started to rock back and forth with a loneliness that I can't describe with words, they ignored me, just kept packing. By this point, my flight or fight kicked in. I numbed my emotions before walking out and calling the only other family member I trusted, my aunt, on my dad's side. After Kate's betrayal, I had no idea what she'd say, but she immediately said I could come over and stay for as long as I needed. I didn't eat breakfast that morning, didn't even give Kate her gift, just took the boxes, ordered an Uber, and left. But on the way there, Kate called me. I was filled with hate as I saw her name pop up on the screen but picked up anyway. "I'm so sorry, please don't hate me." My eyebrows furrowed and I went completely silent. "Are you alone right now?" she asked. I told her yes. Kate didn't say anything else. She just turned on FaceTime and showed me a pregnancy test with 2 pink lines. It was hers. I gasped. "Lily, I'm pregnant. I don't want to tell mom and dad yet because, well, you know how they can be, but I don't want you to be home when they find out." I thought back to the time when Kate came home with a hickey. My parents shouted at me for almost an hour, telling me how bad of an influence I was, how it was all my fault. So I understood. "Kate, what can I do to help?" I asked. She told me to ask for her help from our Aunt Bonnie. Suddenly I could hear my parents walking up the stairs singing happy birthday, so I hung up. My mind was spinning. A part of me was relieved that Kate was still my best friend, but mostly I was just worried, very worried. And when I got to my Aunt Bonnie's, my stomach twisted into a pretzel knot because she opened the door, gave me a huge smile, and hugged me super tight. "I'm so happy you visited." I never told her what had happened, and clearly my parents didn't either. We were in the middle of polite introductory small talk when I just blurted it out. "My parents are racist and my sister is pregnant." The second I said it, she laughed, thinking it was some sort of joke. And that's when I started bawling my eyes out. By this point, we had already taken in the boxes, so we went inside and she listened while I talked. I made her promise not to tell my parents, and she swore she wouldn't. The next hour consisted of me completely unloading everything. The racism, the favoritism, ostracism, getting kicked out. She promised I would be safe with her and held me while I cried myself to sleep. I didn't know it at the time, but Aunt Bonnie was about to make my parents pay. Me and Kate's lives were about to change forever. The rest of the full story is on my channel and linked below. Am I the a-hole for saying, I just hope that you are proud of yourself to my niece when I lost my job? I'm 35 and lost my job, but eventually found another at a meat company. It paid way less, the hours were longer, and the work was more exhausting, but I didn't have the luxury to be picky. I've got 3 kids to raise and couldn't just leave it all on my husband. I planned to stick with it until something better came along, even though the boss there is a real jerk. A while back, my 19-year-old niece was looking for a part-time job, so I mentioned the openings at my workplace to my higher-ups. My brother's family is well off and covers all her school and living expenses, so she just wanted something for extra cash. My niece soon found out that many of us working there are not paid the standard for overtime, and our workload exceeded the norm. She was disgusted by the environment and wanted to file a complaint about the company to the authorities. I begged her not to, not because of my love for the company, I was going to leave eventually, but because, like me, many of us there have families to feed and needed the job. My niece ignored me and ended up making quite a big deal out of it, posting pictures, videos, and long paragraphs on social media and filing some reports to fight for our rights. I have no idea if it changed anything in the company. However, as a result of this drama, the company decided to dismiss a portion of its staff, and including me, a few other coworkers of mine lost their jobs. They did not voice it out directly, but they have been avoiding me, probably blaming me for introducing my niece to the job. I've been avoiding my niece because, despite her good intentions, I still lost my job. She kept texting me, insisting she did the right thing, sending long messages just to get me to admit she was right. I didn't want to argue or blame someone half my age still living comfortably with her parents, so I finally replied, I just hope you're proud of yourself. My brother texted, saying I was being unkind to his daughter and that, as her aunt who witnessed the workplace toxicity, I should be encouraging her to keep standing up for what's right.
When I inherited my grandparents' $900K estate, I quietly moved it into a trust just in case. I was always the quiet one in my family, the girl who never made a scene, never talked back, never got in the way. Everyone thought I'd fold when things got ugly. They were wrong. When my grandparents passed, they left me everything. The house, the savings, the shares, just under 900 grand, all in my name. Why? Because when they needed help, I was there. I drove them to appointments, paid their bills, sat with them when no one else bothered to call. But my brother, he showed up for Christmas selfies and vanished until next year. And mom, she'd just sigh and cover for him every time. He maxed out another card or crashed another borrowed car. When grandpa's will was read and only my name was on it, I saw mom's face twist, like I'd stolen something that should have been hers to give away. That was the moment I knew what was coming. The house was the crown jewel, an old Victorian, deep red bricks, ivy crawling up the sides, worth a fortune in our booming neighborhood. But instead of moving in, I stayed in my tiny apartment across town and got to work. I found a lawyer, built an airtight trust, moved the entire estate into it, house, savings, everything. I paid extra to make it invisible, and I told no one. For a while, they played nice. Mom dropped hints about how unfair it was. My brother texted me asking to use the pool. It doesn't even have one. I just smiled and nodded. Let them think I was clueless. Then one weekend, I was at the house trimming the front hedges when mom's car pulled in. Out jumped my brother, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. Mom followed, clutching a clipboard like she was ready to cut the first ribbon on her brand new project. He smirked. We've got some news. Mom stepped forward, fake sweet. We spoke to a lawyer. Turns out grandpa made a mistake. The house should have gone to both of you. We've already fixed it. Then my brother whipped out a folded paper. We transferred the title. It's in my name now. You'll need to be out by Friday. No hard feelings, right? I just stared at them, smiled, nodded. Got it. 2 days later, they came back with a moving truck, like I'd just roll over. But when they stepped out, they didn't see boxes. They saw me on the porch, arms crossed, standing next to a man in a navy suit with a county badge clipped to his belt. He looked right at my brother. Are you the one who filed this transfer? My brother froze. Yeah, so? The man flipped open a folder. This property's held in an irrevocable trust. Any claim to transfer it is fraudulent. That's a felony. Mom's smile cracked. There must be some mistake. I cut her off. You forged a title using grandpa's old deed. You thought I'd be stupid enough to let it slide. The movers stood there awkwardly while the suit explained the fraud report, the charges, the trespassing notice. My brother's face drained white. Mom sputtered about misunderstandings. I didn't say a word. They left empty-handed, but they weren't done. Days later, I got a letter from mom's new lawyer demanding a payout, 150 grand, joint ownership of the house, plus a monthly allowance for her emotional distress. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I hired a better lawyer. She dug up every forgery, every fake notary stamp, every shady online title registry. She filed fraud claims. My brother's real estate job found out. His license was frozen within days. Then mom started whispering lies to the rest of the family. That I'd manipulated grandpa, that I'd tricked him when he was sick. I found out from my cousin, who sent me screenshots of mom's late night calls. So I gathered every receipt, the trust papers, the forged documents, the lawyer letters, the texts. Then I sent it all, one neat folder, to every single relative mom had poisoned. 27 people. No drama, just facts. Most saw the truth. Some called me crying, some blocked me. Didn't matter, the lie was dead. My brother lost his job, his license, and now he's stuck explaining a fraud charge to every employer who Googles him. Mom dropped her lawsuit and crawled back into silence. She knows she can't touch me again. Last night I walked through that old Victorian, my house. I ran my fingers along the walls my grandparents built and whispered. I kept it safe.
What's the weirdest customer you've ever dealt with? One time, a guy came in on his phone to order 2 sandwiches. He mentioned one was for his 7 months pregnant wife, so to please get it right. He had a list detailing exactly what she wanted. I made it exactly how it was written down, then made his, and he paid, and all was good in the world. Then maybe 10 minutes later, the phone rings. I answer it, and there's this woman on the phone just screaming at me, telling me I made her sandwich wrong and how she wanted ranch instead of mayo and blah blah, and that she would send her husband in to get it remade. You know, full Karen minus the let me speak to the manager bit. So the guy comes back in, and I immediately recognize him. He's apologizing profusely, explaining that his wife is pregnant and hormones and whatnot. I assured him I've been yelled at for less. It's no big deal. I'll remake it at no charge. He has the offending sandwich. I remake it right and throw the old one away. As I'm ringing up the order, even though it was free, it still had to be rung up at $0 for bread count accuracy. The phone rings again. I hand the man his sandwich and answer the phone, and there's this woman on the other end, hysterically crying. So I ask if she's all right, and she informs me that she called earlier and felt horrible about yelling at me because she realized she wrote it down wrong, and it wasn't wasn't my fault. The whole time I'm just awkwardly telling her, it's okay, no big deal. We got it taken care of. You're okay, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And then she, still sobbing, asks me straight up, do you forgive me? I said, it's all good, no worries. She said, no, do you forgive me? I said, yeah, don't worry about it. And she asked again, but do you forgive me? I replied, yes, I forgive you. Have a great night, ma'am. After which, she hung up. I still remember that even 7 years later, because it was the only time I've ever had a customer call back, not only to apologize, but crying about it as well.
I've been getting text messages from my dead best friend for 3 months. Today he told me who killed him. Caleb died on March 15th in what everyone called a tragic car accident. Single vehicle collision on Route 47, lost control around a sharp curve and hit a tree. The funeral was closed casket because of how mangled his body was. I was devastated. We'd been best friends since kindergarten, did everything together, shared every secret. His mom asked me to speak at the service, and I barely made it through without breaking down. I thought that was the end, that I'd never hear from my best friend again. Then the texts started coming exactly 1 week after the funeral. The first one just said, miss you, bro, from Caleb's number. I figured it was his mom using his phone to feel close to him, or maybe his little sister playing around. I texted back asking who it was, but got no response. The next day, another text. Funeral was nice, thanks for the speech. That one made me uncomfortable because whoever was texting knew I'd spoken at the service, but I still assumed it was family. But the messages kept coming, and they started getting more personal. Remember when we snuck out to see Sarah Jenkins at the lake? That was a memory only Caleb and I shared. We'd never told anyone about that night sophomore year. Your mom still makes those terrible meatballs on Sundays. How would his family know my mom's cooking schedule? The texts were coming at all hours, sometimes at 3 a.m., and they contained details about my daily life that were impossible for anyone else to know. 3 weeks after the funeral, I got a text that made my blood freeze. I can see you right now, sitting in your car outside McDonald's, eating those gross chicken nuggets you love. I was indeed sitting in my car at McDonald's, and I just ordered chicken nuggets. I looked around the parking lot frantically, but there was no one there who could have seen me. I called Caleb's mom that night to ask if anyone else had access to his phone. She broke down crying and told me his phone had been destroyed in the crash. There was no way anyone could be using it. The texts became more frequent and more disturbing. Caleb started describing what it was like being dead, how he could see everything but couldn't interact with the living world. He told me about conversations I'd had with people after his death, things I'd said to my girlfriend about missing him, even private moments when I'd cried alone in my room. I watched you break down in your bedroom last Tuesday night, one text read. I wish I could have hugged you like old times, but it was last week's messages that changed everything. Caleb started talking about the night he died, giving me details that weren't in any police report or news article. I wasn't driving to the store like everyone thinks. He texted. I was meeting someone at the old quarry, someone I trusted. He described seeing Mason Hartwell's truck parked behind the trees when he arrived. Mason, our mutual friend since middle school, someone who'd been a pallbearer at Caleb's funeral, someone who'd comforted me during my grief. According to the texts, Caleb had discovered something horrible about Mason 3 days before he died. He'd found photos on Mason's computer when he borrowed it for a school project, images of local missing kids, detailed plans, locations where bodies were buried. Mason had been operating as a serial killer for 2 years, targeting teenagers from nearby towns where the disappearances wouldn't be connected. Caleb confronted Mason about the photos, threatened to go to the police, and Mason convinced him to meet at the quarry to talk it through. The texts described how Mason had sabotaged Caleb's brakes earlier that day, loosening them just enough so they'd fail on the winding road home from the quarry. But when Caleb arrived and saw Mason's truck, he knew it was a trap. He tried to leave, but the brakes were already failing. Mason followed him, ramming his truck into Caleb's car at the sharp curve, sending him straight into the tree. Mason then staged the scene to look like an accident and called 911, playing the role of a concerned friend who'd found the wreckage. Yesterday's text was the most terrifying yet. Mason has been watching you since the funeral. He knows we used to share everything, and he's worried I told you about the photos before I died. Check under your car tomorrow morning. He's been putting tracking devices on it. I didn't want to believe it, but when I checked under my car this morning, there it was. A small GPS tracker magnetic mounted to my rear axle, exactly where the text said it would be. Today's final message came through an hour ago. He's coming for you tonight. He knows I've been talking to you somehow, and he can't risk you figuring out the truth. Mason has been planning your accident for weeks. He's going to make it look like you were so grief-stricken about my death that you drove off the same curve where I died. Check your rearview mirror right now. I'm sitting in my car outside the police station, afraid to go inside because I know how insane this sounds. But I checked my mirror like the text said, and there's Mason's truck 3 cars behind me, engine running, headlights off. He's been following me for who knows how long. My hands are shaking as I type this. I can see him getting out of his truck now, walking toward my car with something in his hand. The last text just came through. Run. Don't let him make you the next accident.
My brother did me when I was drunk at a house party. I'm 3 years older than my brother and I've got a job. He's at college, but my job had me do a training course for a couple of weeks. At the same college. We have the same parents, but they don't live together. I have my mom's last name and my brother got his dad's. My brother likes to think of himself as being popular, because he's often invited to parties, and I've heard him talk to his friends about how he gets girls. When he found out I was going to the same place for a while, he was annoyed and told me to not tell anyone I'm his sister. After I had been there for 2 weeks, a girl invited me to a party and said, "There will be boys and alcohol." So of course, I said yes to going. On the weekend I met her and we went to her house to get ready. I saw an adult toy under her bed, so we laughed about it, and she said she had it for party games like spin the bottle, etc. We turned up a few hours late, so there were a lot of people already drunk. When we walked through the door, a boy I didn't know slapped my cheeks. We had some drinks and went into a different room. That's when I saw my brother. He also saw me, and we sort of stopped and stared at each other before continuing on. My new friend, joking, said it looks like you have a thing, checking each other out, which I laughed off and said he wishes to act like I didn't know him. We mostly avoid each other for the rest of the night, apart from getting drinks, but it comes to a part in the night when most people have gone home, or passed out asleep somewhere. There was no one else awake beside my brother and my friends, so my friends decided to ask my brother if we could hang with them. My brother said yes, however, I didn't expect what he was going to say to me. Press share and more for part 2.
My mom caught me sucking her husband's meat. The day after Thanksgiving I, 18F, was giving a blowy to my stepdad, 33M, while my mom, 45F, was gone. We've been really careful about making sure we're alone when we hook up, but we just misjudged the time we had. We heard her get home, but my door was open so we didn't have enough time to get dressed before she walked in and saw us. She yelled at my stepdad and told him to leave, then she closed my door and I was ready for her to start yelling at me too, but that wasn't what she did. She thought he was taking advantage of me and started telling me that everything was all right, and I wouldn't have to see him again. I started crying and she hugged me, but then I told her the truth about how I seduced him and I very much wanted this to be happening. I could tell she was getting mad at me, but she didn't raise her voice or anything, she just let me explain everything, and then left. Then I heard her screaming at my stepdad but I couldn't really make out what they were saying. An hour later I heard the door slam and a car start, then Daddy walked into my room and explained that Mom left to stay with her sister while she decided if she was going to divorce him or not. We had a pretty long conversation about our future together and basically decided we would stick together no matter what. He slept in my bed that night and the next, but we didn't do anything other than cuddle both of the whole weekend because neither of us were in the mood. Both of us tried calling her a few times but she wouldn't answer. Then that Monday she came back home at her regular time after work. We had a conversation together as a family and shockingly she said it was fine if we kept effing as long as we only did it in my room and only if Daddy wore protection every time. Then she showed my stepdad a video of her getting pounded by her coworker and a picture of her with cream all over her face, which is something she never let my stepdad do. She said she was going to keep effing him and whoever else she wanted for as long as me and Daddy were still doing it. Daddy didn't have a problem with any of that, so after we all had dinner, he went to the store and bought a giant box of protection and put it right on my nightstand. We've effed every day since then, even if my mom was in the house and she has spent a couple more nights sleeping somewhere else too.
Can't stop thinking about the time I pounded my friend in the car. Every time I do, I get so hard I can't think straight. Even as I type this, I have to stop ever so often to rub one out. My girlfriend Malia believes that men and women can be platonic friends. Every day she'd get into arguments with my friends about how it's possible for women and men to be friends and would constantly use our relationship as an example. I used to agree with her until a few months ago when I fell in love with her. Of course, I couldn't tell her without losing our friendship. Everything was going fine until last month when my friends and I decided to go on a road trip. My friend's minivan was a 5-seater and there were 6 of us. Obviously, none of us wanted to sit on another dude's lap, so everyone argued for Malia to do it. Eventually, she gave in, but on the condition that she sat in my lap. Malia is gorgeous. She has large melons and a big, tight cock. Our friends would constantly hit on her, and it was due to that she wanted to sit on me. I sat in the far back and this also gave Malia chances to stretch in the empty space beside us. The first hour was awkward, but by the second hour, we got comfortable enough for her to lean back against me. As we crossed into Louisiana, we hit a pothole and so began what was a horrifying yet blissful experience. As most people know, it's pretty easy to get hard. It also didn't help that the love of my life wore a skirt. And my thoughts went to how her opening was just a thin cloth away. I could feel myself getting harder. I took deep breaths to try to calm myself. Another pothole shook the minivan and plan B was to pray she didn't notice. Malia cleared her throat and shifted slightly. Sorry, I whispered. Gosh, I was embarrassed. There was nothing I could do to relieve myself and the next pit stop wouldn't be for a few miles. It's okay, can't be helped, she replied. I closed my eyes and just hoped it would go away. But it was like an onslaught of potholes and crappy roads and a jolt of pleasure that caused me to instinctively grab her hips. Each rumble and bump that tossed her slightly in the air and back on my pickle drove me insane. I wanted so desperately for my meat to accidentally slip out of my shorts and right into her cat. I wanted to say, frick this and throw her on the minivan floor and bang her brains out doggy style. As I felt myself slowly reaching climax, I wrapped my arms around her waist and buried my face in.
My Jamaican stepdad said he's tired of my mom's bombaclat and wants to try mine now. He basically raised me since I could remember and now he wants to try my bombaclat. My mom had me at 18 right out of high school and my dad died a year later, which left her a vulnerable teen mom. Suddenly, my mom remarried at 21 and had my sisters. My stepdad, Scott, was the only father I've known and he's been amazing. Even though he says he has 23 children and 22 baby muddas, now that's a real bad man. But anyways, things changed when I turned 23 though. I remember Scott was becoming a little more touchy than normal, and a little too personal. He started to buy me Nike Pro shorts anytime he could, and told me I was only allowed to walk around the house with them on. He told me I was beautiful all the time and said I had a crazy bombaclat, and if he was my age, he would have gone after me right away. He would offer me wine, I declined, and would ask me about boys I was seeing in my life after one too many classes. I brushed it off because I thought maybe he was being a nosy Jamaican father and just wanted to make sure his daughter wasn't getting in trouble. Then, this kind of stuff continued, to the point where my stepdad tried to rizz me up by I got my little cat pounded by 5 autistic kids. So this happened like a few weeks ago, and I'm really in love with how these guys used me. I don't know if it's weird or not. Basically, I was walking down the street one day, going to my boyfriend's house. It wasn't that dark outside, but it was nighttime. He didn't know I was coming though. I did not tell him because it wanted it to be a surprise so I could be used by him. When I got like a block around from his house, I noticed this short white chubby guy following me. I immediately stopped and shouted, "Why are you following me? Who are you?" The only reason I shouted this was because I knew that my boyfriend was close, so I felt safe. The guy didn't talk much and looked a little weird, as if he was missing a chromosome or something. He told me to come here and give me a BJ, and being the girl I am, I did it. I was in the mood now and told him that I wanted him to use me in my face as he wanted. After a while of staring, he got unclothed and started to jerk off. Of course, I started to suck his hot dog. Then he started to tickle me. He played with my cat. He started to pound it with his hot dog and released his milk inside. After he used me about 5 times, his friends came out of nowhere.
The man pushed my legs apart and I immediately felt something hard at my entrance. My eyes widened and I didn't know what I was expecting. But just the moment the man pushed himself into me, I'm disillusioned with my first time. I thought it would be romantic and full of tenderness, but at that moment, reality hit me. When the real pain struck, I screamed out loud. It felt like trying to escape hell. But he was like an immovable mountain crushing me. I scratched his shoulders, trying to ease the pain, but Alex's eyes showed impatience. "Be a good girl," he ordered coldly, making my body stiffen as I trembled with fear. Couldn't he have said something gentle in that moment? But no, he commanded me as if I were his pet. I opened my mouth to curse at him, but he swiftly captured my lips, as if to devour them and shut me up. I tried to push him away again, but he grabbed my hands and pinned them above my head, leaving me to struggle beneath him like a helpless fish. I never expected this man to be so rough in bed. His other hand wrapped around my waist, moving slowly across my body, inside and out, until I started to forget the pain. I don't know when exactly the pain faded away, but at some point, I embraced him, allowing him to explore the deepest parts of me, not just my body but my soul as well. This man had turned me from a girl into a woman, showing me a whole new world, even a new version of myself. Alex didn't seem to realize what he had just done, but he knew one thing. If this ever happened again, he'd do the same. He had carried a grudge against women for so long, but this woman had somehow revealed a new side of him. He knew everything would change. Outside the room, Mike, his assistant, had come back early to check if the hotel was on fire or something. But no, the manager told him there wasn't an emergency, though apparently one of their guests had stirred up some trouble. Mike also noticed an ambulance outside earlier, loading someone in. Though he had no idea who it was, until he heard. Being the meticulous man he was, Mike wasn't about to overlook any detail surrounding his boss. Rumor had it that the CEO, West, tried to have some fun, but a girl ended up hitting him over the head. If West didn't turn into a vegetable after that, it'd be a miracle. Mike was curious about the girl who'd managed to escape the infamous CEO. Known as a tyrant because of his political influence, yet, somehow, she had sent him to the hospital. Energized by the gossip, Mike rushed back to notify his boss that the hotel had become a sensation overnight, and they should leave soon. Despite knocking repeatedly, no one answered. Mike grew anxious. Damn it, he thought. He tried using a key, but the door was locked from the inside, and his key wouldn't work. Not knowing what else to do, he pulled out his phone to call someone who always had access to his boss. What? Came the sound of barking dogs from the other end of the line. Mike, unfazed, with his dog-like loyalty, pleaded, "The boss won't open the door." "Hold on," the man replied, telling him to stay on the line. Only 2 minutes later, the man returned, saying, "Don't disturb him right now." Mike was utterly confused. What could have happened in just a few minutes? He's not alone. I think he's busy. The man smiled, glancing at the screen. He wasn't one to spy on his boss's private affairs, but his job was to ensure his boss's safety, even though the boss himself was dangerous. He had checked the security cameras at the door, and what he saw almost gave him a heart attack. His boss was with a woman. It looked like all those rumors about him being gay were about to vanish. He quickly exited the system, knowing that if his boss found out he'd witnessed any of that steamy scene through hidden cameras, he'd be dead. Mike was in shock. His boss wasn't alone, but who had been tracking them? And how had they managed to leave no trace? Mike stood there like an idiot, completely clueless that his boss had spent a wild night inside, nearly killing an innocent girl with years of pent-up desire. The next morning, I tried to move, but the soreness between my legs hit me hard. My mouth was dry, and my head pounded. As I shifted, I realized my back was pressed against another person. I jumped in shock. Oh no, I've messed up. Seriously. Seeing his expressionless face as he slept, memories came rushing back to me. Last night, after my father's death, my uncle and fiancé drugged me and sent me off to some old man. Luckily, I escaped and found a stranger to help me break the drug's effects. Under the influence of the drug, I hadn't paid much attention to his looks or body, but now, looking at him, he seemed like a battle-hardened soldier fresh off the front lines. Of course, his physique wasn't my main concern anymore, especially when flashes of last night's torture came flooding back. My face turned as red as a tomato. I tore my gaze away from him, biting my lip as I fell deep into thought. I've got to get out of here. Yes, I need to leave before this monster wakes up. Ignoring the fact that I was stark naked, I grabbed my torn clothes. Seeing the damage to my dress, I gritted my teeth. This man was a beast. My new black dress was riddled with holes. I spotted a shirt on the floor and hastily pulled it on over my underwear. Without my wallet, I searched the room, hoping to find some cash for a cab ride home. I noticed a pair of black pants, picked them up, and found his wallet inside, but when I looked, I saw 2 black cards and several VIP cards, enough to make me gasp. Damn, this man wasn't just anybody. The name on the black card read Eric's Hunter, which sounded oddly familiar, though I couldn't quite place it. I didn't bother trying to remember. From today onward, that name would be forbidden to me. I rummaged through the wallet for cash, but just then, I felt movement on the bed. Turning around, I locked eyes with a pair of cold, intense eyes watching me.
Being a good wife meant learning how to deep throat. I have been with my husband for over a decade. I have always loved sucking his pee-pee. It's literally one of my favorite things to do. I've seen him before just from doing that. He also turned me into a bit of a size queen. He's long and extremely girthy. One day we were talking and he mentioned that he'd never been deep-throated before. Considering I love this man and his pee-pee, I took that personally. I spent the next few months, cue Rocky montage, getting my body ready. I looked up exercises to strengthen my jaw, typically for people with TMJ, and started doing them when I was bored. Every time I brushed my teeth I would stick my toothbrush further and further down my throat, training my gag reflex to relax. Little by little it started working and it eventually got to where I could put it all the way down my throat no problem. The first time I deep-throated him he audibly gasped and held it there for a while I continued to work my tongue on him. Afterwards he told me that I was the best wife on the planet. It's been a couple years now and at this point he can deep-throat face F me and all it triggers is aching and wetness in between my legs. Last night, before I knew it I was on top of him and we were making out. We paused for a minute looking into each other's eyes in sheer lust, when he asks can I have a BLWJB with a cheeky grin on his face. I didn't say anything, just got down on my knees, pulled his shorts down and did my thing. I gave him the double handy gawky whirly, also known as making him see stars. We were both turned on by that point so after a while of my tongue putting in work I said can I have a ride? We threw our clothes on the floor and I started effing him cowgirl on the couch. We were making out again and then we switched into missionary while still making out. He effed me like that on my back on the couch until we both met our brains out.
It became clear to me that the purpose of the group was for my mom and her friends to share cake ideas. Specific cake ideas. Based on the messages I saw, my mom wanted a cake for my dad's upcoming birthday that looked exactly like her kitty. Not only that, she wanted the cake to be edible and somehow screwable as well. Like she literally wanted a real schlong to at least be able to penetrate the cake without destroying it. One of my mom's friends said that she knew someone who specialized in erotic cakes. Then she asked my mom if she was willing to send that person a picture of her kitty since my mom didn't want a random kitty cake. Before my mom could respond, another friend decided to share an old photo of my young mom and a few other young people who were about to go skinny dipping. Everyone in the photo was fully undressed. My mom was spreading her cheeks and mooning the photographer. The person who sent the photo said, I hope you learn to shave over the years before you send that photo. This was like the first 6 or 7 messages in the group. There was a lot more to read, but I had seen too much, so I exited the group as quietly as possible. I have no idea how no one noticed I was there and I don't know if they noticed me leave. My mom isn't acting weird around me, even though I'm being weird as hell. I want to believe that I might be in the clear. That being said, I now know what my mom's kitty looked like when she was my age, and I now have nightmares of my soon-to-be 60-year-old dad screwing a kitty cake.
My boyfriend's dad took me from behind. Last weekend we went on a trip together, me 19, my BF 21, his mom 49, his dad 53. My BF and I have been dating for 2 years now so I'm pretty much myself around his parents. This isn't the first trip we've taken together. His dad has always been touchy, flirty, and pretty towards me. For example, he will come up behind me and scare hug me. When he hugs from behind he shoves his dirt into you back and gropes your cherries. I never say anything, I just let him do him. Anyways, back to the story. I always dress comfy for road trips. I wore just short shorts and a white tee. We stopped after 4 hours at a nice gas station. I hop out to some freezing weather after sitting in a warm car. My nips are cutting through my shirt. I walk in and my BF goes to the bathroom. His dad comes up while I'm looking at drinks and says your headlights are blinding. I just laugh and try to play it off. My BF and his mom are still using the bathroom while me and his dad walk out to the car. We hop in and asks may I? Staring at my freezing nipples. I just nod and he starts groping and rubbing my cherries. He starts telling me about how hot I am. How much he's wanted a fork in the past. We see my BF walking out so we stop. I was honestly wettest the rest of the drive. When we get to our Airbnb we all unpack and chill. That night my BF slumps quickly and I can't sleep as horny as I was. His dad texts me upstairs bathroom. I go and he's waiting stripped to his underwear with a giant PP. He immediately grabs me and starts rubbing my peach and cherries. He takes off my shirt and panties and puts me on my knees. I immediately started sucking his pee-pee. Just a couple minutes after I ate his load. This was the best trip of my life. Follow for more.
Hey, babe.
Babe?
Remember, we're dating now.
Oh, right, the whole fake relationship thing. You know that we're only doing this to make my ex jealous, right?
Yeah, totally. But we need to actually sell it.
Texting me babe isn't selling anything.
It's called immersion.
Is that so?
Yes, and maybe you should call me babe back. Or mommy if you like that better.
Stop it!
Okay, fine. What about just sweetheart?
Brittany, I don't actually want you.
Riz App says, then why are you still here, enjoying every moment of this?
Then why are you still here, enjoying every moment of this?
Okay, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I do adore that charm of yours.
If that's the case, then let me come over. I have some other things that you might also adore.
Yeah, like what?
My meow!
Oh my, why are you so desperate?
Desperate? No. Devoted? Yes.
Need I remind you again that this whole relationship we have is fake?
Maybe not everything is fake.
What's that supposed to mean?
We should rehearse. You know, just to make sure our story's solid.
There's nothing to rehearse. We say that we're dating, and that's the end of the story.
Trust me, we need more details. Like how we met and our first kiss. Maybe even the first time our vertical lips tangoed.
There will be no kissing or tangoing of any sort.
Why not? It'd be convincing.
No, it'd be weird.
Or hot. Depends on your perspective.
I'm not playing your games.
Too late. You already are.
Okay, fine. We can have a little tango. One time. That's it. And I'm only doing this to make this whole thing.
Why did you wake me up in such an unconventional way this morning?
You had a huge situation of morning wood when I went to wake you up.
I understand, but you can't do that. You are my stepmommy.
Exactly, stepmommy. We aren't blood. I didn't do it for you, and my mouth isn't the only place I put your 65-inch Johnson. I've needed some 65-inch Johnson in my life since your dad said we can't do it anymore. I would let you do unimaginable things to me.
I mean, we really shouldn't.
Shut up. I know it's your big fantasy. Your top search hub is Sophie Rain.
How do you know that?
We aren't going to talk about that.
Oh, well, you're not wrong about it being my biggest dream.
Your hard Johnson was so good. It was the right length and width. Hit every spot so fucking good.
How badly did you like it?
Like it? I fucking loved it. Come upstairs. Your dad just left and brought your sisters to a movie, so no one is home. So come get deep in this kitty cat and thrust as fast as possible. It is going to sound like pudding being mixed. Make sure to stuff it very deep.
Yes, ma'am. Will be our little secret.
I will wake you every morning the same way as soon as your dad leaves for work.
How are you so good at that? I couldn't even pull out because of how tight that grip was.
You can get it anytime you want.
I love that. Your tubes are tied because I can fill you up every time.
But the cleanup is still hard. You spill everywhere.
Trust me, I know it's leaking through my pants right now. If you're ready for round 2, can I be bottom this time?
You can do anything you want as long as I get that Johnson. Hey!
Do we know each other?
No way! I typed in a random number and it came up with you.
To do what?
I was bored, you could say.
Well, I agree to chat with you if you assure me that you are not a 39-year-old or an 8-year-old kid.
I'm 17 years old.
I'm 18. Riz app tells her to say,
It's like we're meant to be together. It's like we're meant to be together.
I guess so. You still haven't told me your first name, by the way. I have to be able to rename you.
My name is Emma.
Cool. My name is Jacob.
Okay. No, nothing. Very beautiful first name, Jacob. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, and you?
Not good.
Tell me why?
This boy. He was my best at the time. We talked a lot, and I was very attached to him. I moved. It's been around 10 years since we last saw each other, and now that I found him, well...
He doesn't remember you?
No.
I'm sure it'll come back to him.
I do not think so.
If you say so.
Hey, so how are you?
Nil. I'm struggling with math here.
I'll call you in 5 minutes. You'll see my talents.
Haha, I am waiting. Hey.
Wow, this is the first time you sent the first message. I'm going to print it and frame it.
That's why I never do it, you see. I saw Lily today. Your favorite flowers, right?
Oh, I told you that? I do not remember.
It has been a long time.
A long time? We've barely been talking for a month.
Really?
How so?
Nothing. Tell me about your best friend. Did it work out?
Oh no, he still doesn't know.
Why don't you tell him?
I'm ready to tell him when I'm ready to confess my feelings, I think.
What is his name?
It's not important, don't worry.
Can you still help me with math?
Let me grab my headphones. Hey, I'm flying today with my dad. We're going to see family in the UK. I couldn't answer you for long. I'll send you a message as soon as I can. Bye.
Okay, take care of yourself. Hello, Emma. It's been a week. You don't have Wi-Fi? It's been 2 weeks. The vacation is almost over. Can't wait to see you again. Heard what happened. 2 weeks ago, a plane heading to the UK crashed onto an island. Everyone on board are now lost in the ocean. Rest in peace. I know how much you love the ocean. I'm sorry, Emma. I couldn't even see you at the very last moment.